All right, so we're going to look at multiplying and dividing our radicals. So starting off, if they say product of two radicals, that just means we're multiplying them. And the whole inside of the house, outside of the house really plays into it. We can only multiply numbers that are both inside the radical and numbers that are outside the radical. So I've got 14 and 12 inside the radical. Those two can play together. And I've got, actually, there's like it's kind of like having a coefficient here. We've also got a 1, so the 1 and the 10 can play together. So 1 and 10 give me 10, and I'm multiplying. We're looking at the product. And 14 and 12. I do not actually like fully multiplying it because I'm going to just then break it up again. So I just leave it as 14 over 12. And now we want to simplify. So after you multiply, you simplify. So I got to break up 14 and 12 because they were able to play together. So let's go 7 and 2. And neither of those can be broken up. So 12 is 2 and 6. And 2 and 3. So now that I've got my inside numbers and my outside numbers combined, I want to simplify my radical. So I look for numbers that have a buddy. So 2 has a buddy, so it can leave the house. Is there another pair that can leave the house? It looks like no. So on the outside, we've got the 10, and now the 2 that can leave the house. And then on the inside, we've got 7, 2, and 3. Those are all going to be multiplied together. So 7 times 2 times 3. And so my final answer is 20 square root of 42. And I know 42 seems big, but we already broke it up and found that there isn't a perfect square factor in there. So that's it. I am done. So the whole thing is, if you know how to simplify your radicals, that's what you're going to have to do at the very end. The multiplying, just make sure inside with inside, outside with outside. Another question that I've seen is 9 times 2 rad 90. Okay, so if I look at something like this, 9 doesn't have an inside number. So outside with outside, and then inside just stays inside by itself. So I get 18 square root of 90. But 90 is a really big number. I want to check if I have any perfect square factors here. Do I have any buddies that can leave the house? So I get 9 and 10, 3 and 3, and 5 and 2. Only buddies that can leave the house are 3. So 18's already out of the house. Now 3 is going to be out of the house. So it's 18 times that 3 that can leave the house. And then what's inside is what didn't have a buddy. I've got a 5 and a 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. So I get 54 rad 10. Then dividing. So same thing. If they're both inside the house, they can play together. Outside of the house, they can play together. So something like square root of 72 over 6. This guy, inside number. This guy, outside number. They cannot play together. So the best I can do right now is try and simplify my radicals. So 72 over 6, I just need to simplify 72. You can do it on the side. You can work down. 72 can break up into 8 and 9. I actually want to do that in a different color. 8 and 9, 4, 2, 2, 2, and then 3 and 3. So 3 is going to be able to leave the house. 2 is going to be able to leave the house. So 3 times 2. And then the only thing that was inside of the house is that 2 that didn't, and then 6. And then dividing, inside numbers can play together, outside numbers. I've got 2 outside numbers. 6 is outside. This 6 is also outside. So it's like a fraction where 6 over 6 cancels to 1 over 1. And my final answer, square root of 2. With no, well, denominator of 1, which we don't have to write down.